His daughter's got getting an award tonight, so he's not going to be here. So. All right, we have a full house tonight. I love it. So lots of good things to talk about tonight. It is 6 p.m. on May 11th. I'm calling this meeting to order. We have a quorum and we have a properly established agenda. The first item on there is item number 2, which is the bond election information that was recently done on May 2nd. We have a consideration approval of an order canvassing the returns and declaring the results of a bond election. Everyone has seen the results, which were, I have to temper my enthusiasm, so I won't say much more. But so at this time, I am looking for a motion. Come on, guys.
All right,
Mr. President,
I'll make my own if you want.
I recommend the board approve the order canvassing the returns and declaring the results of the May 2nd, 2026 bond election.
I have a motion from Mr. Bayless. Do I have a second? A second from Ms. Alvarez. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. The motion passes 5-0. Guys, we have a bond that passed. And just quickly on a personal note, I know there are a lot of people in here who worked really, really hard. Obviously, our superintendent and her staff worked really hard to get the information out, but we have, yes. She had to stay neutral, y'all know that, but she obviously got the information out there to educate our voters in a way that hasn't really ever been done before, and I think that was a key thing. But I know there's also a lot of hard workers that were in here that were also distributing information. So thank you for everybody that was a part of this. Thank you for everyone that voted, whether you voted for or against it. I just appreciate everybody that voted. We had a really good turnout, and we're going to move forward. So anyway, also at this time, we are going to do the board election information, which is 3A, consider to take possible action with respect to canvassing the May 2nd. Did I already do this? No. Oh, sorry. 2026 Board of Trustees. Sorry. And so at this time, we need to, I need a motion for that just to make sure that that is all in order. Whoever wants to make a motion.
I recommend the board approve the order canvassing the results of the May 2nd, 2026 board election.
I've got a motion from Mr. Bayless. Do I have a second? Second from Chief Campbell. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. The motion passes 5-0. We will now move to 3B, which is to issue the certificate of election, administer the statement of the elected officer, and the oath of office. So we're ready, Ms. Walter. And so Ms. Schneider for her re-election, and I need Ms. Hood as our newest board member.
I, Sandra Schneider, do solemnly swear that I will faithfully execute the duties of the office of Decatur ISD, Trustee, Place 3 of the state of Texas, and will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution and laws of the United States and of this state, so help me God.
In the name and by the authority of the state of Texas, this is to certify that at a general election held on the 2nd of May, 2026, Sandra Snyder was duly elected trustee, Decatur ISD Board of Education. Congratulations.
I, Megan Hood, do solemnly swear that I will faithfully execute the duties of the office of Decatur ISD Trustee, Place 4 of the state of Texas, and will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution and laws of the United States and of this state. So help me God.
In the name and by the authority of the state of Texas, this is to certify that at a general election held on the 2nd of May, 2026, Megan Hood was duly elected trustee, Decatur ISD Board of Education. Congratulations.
All right. All right. Ms. Hood, you can take your place. Ms. Schneider, I think you know your place. If not, we can remind you. Okay, at this time, if you guys will bear with us, we do have to go into closed session. We have to take care of one item, which is item number 4, pursuant to the Texas Government Code 551.074, consider and discuss possible board officers for a TEC 11.061C and policy BDAA local dictate that the board in the meeting following any election must select a board president, a board vice president, and a board secretary. So at this time, we are adjourning to closed session. We will be back momentarily, so hang in there.
After the pledge of allegiance of the American flag, do I say honor the Texas flag? That is the Texas flag. Now, do I, because apparently I got selected. You raised your hand. No, I got selected to start it.
Just read Brent, you don't stop talking.
Yeah, you don't. You raised your hand anyways.
So now do I say honor the Texas flag? Do I get started?
You raised your hand.
Do you want me to go for you? Dude, I say when it all started. I got you. Yeah, D'Angelo started. He's the responsible.
You're responsible.
You don't even know his legends.
I'm more responsible than y'all. Yeah. I was gonna arrive late. But that's
Okay, I'll start. Hey, hold on. What if I started we started yes.
Okay, I'll start the Texas flag.
No, I'll start the American
it doesn't work.
Can you one more time? Throw my shoe.
I start the pledge of allegiance of the American flag. You start the Texas flag.
I'm not going to be up there.
How about you do it? How about you do it?
Okay, did you stand right there?
No, I got one. I'm doing the American flag. He's doing the Texas flag. Why am I not?
Oh, do you know what that is?
Did you eat beforehand? I just finished a taco pasta.
You should have brought some. Because we're like so responsible.
Dude, I love taco pasta.
Oh, you like taco pasta? I love it. It's just fun to us to talk.
Burritos and juice on top.
I love the super burrito, bro.
Yeah, of course.
So, I start the flag, you start the Texas flag.
He's the Clark. What if I fart in bed?
I'm gonna fart the microphone.
Make sure you cover it up with the car.
Let's start.
Under protect.
I'm gonna fart in the microphone.
Let's start. Up my butt cheeks.
Yeah.
Let me bust it right back out.
What if I have to cover up my fart? I'm under the table.
See, that wasn't too bad. Okay, we are back in open session at 6:11 p.m. At this time, we are going to take nominations for each of the 3 offices of the DISD's Board of Trustees. At this time, we are opening up for the office of President.
I nominate Stan Schultz for president.
Second.
Actually, we don't have to second it. This is different.
Second and third.
My problem child. Okay. Anyway, we have a nomination for Stan Schultz for president. Do we have any other nominations? If there are no other nominations, then the nominations are closed. At this point, I don't know that we technically have to do a vote, but we're going to just make this official. So at this point, we're going to vote for Stan Schultz. Weird saying that, but so at this time. So all those in favor of Stan Schultz being president, say aye. Aye. All those opposed, say nay. Motion or the nomination passes 6-0. Okay, we are now, especially since he's not here, I think someone's going to recommend someone for vice president.
Yeah, I do. I recommend absentee Matt Joyner for vice president.
This is what happens when you don't come to meetings, so you get nominated stuff. All right, are there any other nominations at this time? If there are not, we're going to close the nominations, and all those in favor of Matt Joyner for vice president, say aye. Aye. All those opposed, say nay. Motion passes 6-0. Now we'll get to the office of secretary. Do we have, I'll open it for nominations.
Mr. President, I would love to recommend Miss Sandy Schneider for secretary.
I didn't see that one coming, so. So I have a nomination for Ms. Schneider for secretary. Are there any other nominations? If there are not, then we'll close it up. You can if you want. Okay, I assume that was a joke, so we'll go move on. We're closing nominations for secretary. All those for Sandy Schneider for secretary say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. So you're even voting for yourself?
I didn't know if I was supposed to.
I voted for me. Oh, I'm a narcissist, I can't help it. Okay, so motion passes 6-0. All right, we're good. Okay, we are going to have to go back into closed session. Apologize for having to do this, but this is the way it has to happen in Texas for school board meetings. We're going to go back into closed session. I have to read, we're going for 5B, no, I'm sorry, 5C. Pursuant to Texas Government Code 551.074, personnel to deliberate the appointment, employment, evaluation, reassignment, duties, discipline, or dismissal of a public officer or employee, including superintendent or board member, and then also 5D, which is pursuant to Texas Government Code 551.076, security devices or security audits, to deliberate the deployment or specific occasions for implementation of security personnel or device, or security audit review of the SRO contract. So at this time, at 6:14, we are going to go back into, I know this is strange, guys, but it's a little ping pong, but we're going to get it done. And then we'll be back here momentarily. Thank you.
Can he do American flag and I do the Texas flag?
We actually just do the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. But do y'all want to show off the Texas?
Yes.
I mean, oh, there's our Texas flag. Okay. You know what? Let's go with it. I think.
First year?
Yeah. Well, as far as I know, this is the first time we've done it.
Oh my gosh, this sixth grade year different.
Y'all are all.
I mean, you are okay, you're American, I'm Texas.
Okay, so you're gonna do the I pledge allegiance to the flag.
Alright, I'm gonna honor the Texas flag.
Okay.
I pledge allegiance.
I'm a little weak on that one, so y'all are gonna. But you got me.
I don't even know it, so.
I pledge to the flag of the United States of America,
I know.
Republic.
No, I pledge allegiance.
They started doing it, and I was like, I gotta learn.
I pledge allegiance to the United States of America.
I do know the first thing.
Can you
I think I'm just gonna be
can
mouthing
you
it.
tell us the America?
I pledge allegiance to the flag. All you gotta do is say, I pledge allegiance.
Alright, so that's all I'm saying. All I'm saying.
If you for some reason don't start, I will start. Okay.
I'm doing honor the Texas flag. Pledge allegiance. That's all I'm doing. All I'm doing.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I love it.
I got it.
What?
I got it. I think.
If you don't start, you always start.
I just gotta see it.
I pledge allegiance. Just say I pledge allegiance. Just play it. Say it. I pledge allegiance.
Flag of the United States of America.
Republic for which it stands, one nation.
They're wrong.
I'm doing
I think
I got it.
honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to the Texas, one state under God, one.
How are you supposed to do that racially?
When you're not, are you doing that?
Dude, are y'all rehearsing? When you're doing this, are y'all rehearsing? Oh, we're gonna do it.
I got it.
Yeah, he got it.
Wait, y'all are starting, you're starting it?
Me and him. Starting.
He's one of them. Two dumbasses.
Yeah. Or you want to add 3 to it?
He can be the third.
No, he's so smart.
We're opposite. I love the both. I was so proud of myself. I'm trying to be smarter than him.
Gosh, failed here. Big start. You know, this mixes out.
Yeah, I already knew that. I didn't know if you all knew that. Because y'all are dumbasses. That's what I know that.
I've been knowing you retiring is.
I know that.
You don't even know what 9 plus 10 is.
It is? No.
I'm tired.
I have special needs. I use a calculator.
I use a calculator and I know that.
We got you. It's 19.
It's 19? No.
10 plus 9?
Yeah, like you're 18.
Everybody, I vote me except for you, not you.
And I want everybody but
If I'll have to go from 1 to 10, you'll be last.
you will be last too. And guess what?
I wouldn't. I would not be last.
Okay, so these two, she's president, he's the secretary, he's the vice president. No, you They can. They should like.
Yeah, this is what we told people like 8. For you, it's cool.
Dude, I'm gonna take these shares.
Am I?
No, I'm the oldest. I'm the oldest. I'm the oldest.
What about Charlie?
I'm the oldest here, bro. I'm 36. My birthday.
How old are you? 12. You're the vice president.
Age is just a number.
Wait, y'all went in the back. I'm secretary. Name.
I rolled it because I was pitching and I made it off of
I rolled my ankle so many times. Price is 15.
I'm used to it. I didn't want to do that. Is that a hacky sack? No.
Hey! Where'd your hat go? I'm getting one. No, they went away. What's taking them so long?
Size? Yeah, I think like size.
Then I only say those take like 10 minutes.
Hey, tell me you should bring me some.
What's it? Did she make it? What's inside of it?
Shower.
What is that?
Shower? You only got 8?
Yeah, I only ate like 4 little Oreos.
I didn't even have time to eat these sandwiches.
I'm like, we don't have no time to go. I'm like, okay. I get home, wash my dishes. Too much.
Hey, what's inside?
I tried to much.
What's inside of that?
Feed the cats, feed the dog, feed the chickens. What else? Grab some eggs. Come on.
I don't spend time with them.
Come on. Come on.
Every day?
No. It's like
I got my room with you.
Hey, hold on. Can I say real quick? Can I say real quick? We did it. Wait.
I went to the office like in April, right? That still counts. Like, yeah, I got shot. Yeah.
My sister says,
You're American, I'm Texas.
I pledge to the flag.
No, I pledge allegiance.
I pledge allegiance.
That's all you have to say.
Alright, I'm good. I pledge allegiance.
Hold on, I have to say, honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to the Texas flag. Then we freaking go.
No. I say I honor, and then you just mount everything else.
No. I know it's honor the Texas flag.
after the American flag, are you leaving? After the Texas flag.
No, it's honor the Texas flag. That's how they do it at school.
No, they say now it's for the Texas flag, and then they go.
No, get my way. My way, get the highway. My way, get the highway, highway, the highway, my way. Hey, Leslie. I gotta go. Bye.
The latest, like, I mean, you don't start listening. I can start planning this.
Yeah, I'll
But I gotta ask my sister. No, wait. I gotta look if there's any little tickets. Friday.
What time Friday? The one?
Wait, are you riding to the
Yeah, but like, I made her friends already. So like, I can like, you know, which really good. Or should I just like wait?
Wait. I'm not even dating.
I know. Get started. Wait, because you can be like, I can buy you, right? I just give my Lincoln.
Whoa, what if I roll with you in algebra?
But we can for away. We do this for away. Or you can like pick me up. Look,
Where do you live?
I live like around here. Wait, roughly. You know where I live.
You don't even live in Decatur. Why do you live so far?
Bro, it's only 17 minutes.
27?
17 from here.
Let me show you my location.
I don't even know the landmarks around it.
You live over here. I live like around here. It's 26 minutes. this is all your shit. I know, you already told me this, bro. Why am I in the epic house? Oh, yeah. Well, these are like trade. Yeah, imagine losing the classical yesterday.
Oh, I didn't watch that game.
I just like, when they scored two, I already did. I played for the epic house. Oh, shoot. That's the game. So cute. So cute. No, only my streaks.
Looks like it's worth the whole school. So yeah. Logan, that's why it's on the last day. Last day, maybe? Last day is love? Yes, no, maybe so. I want to choose this. I want to choose two salt, make two tacos. Dude, are we ever? Hey, are we ever gonna say? Do you think I can say chocolate? We had 6 days of school. Yeah. No, I had 4. Hey. It went from like. Yes, we're going to say as soon as those people come back out.
They was here.
No, the pizza.
If they get frozen, they have to get frozen. If they don't. Yeah.
Is it, when are they coming out? I don't know. I think it was Sandra. Any questions that I don't know? No, I did not say 3 days. She's not in your class. We finished the book. I know it, but I wanted to know if she was paying attention. They're costing you.
It was because it was.
But they, you know, finished that first we started.
Whatever that is.
Still have quite a point.
Oh yeah, I thought you were. It's like weird. My mom was in the
Go sing her back.
Okay, we are back in open session at 6:52. I apologize for making you guys wait. We had a few things we just had to take care of, so I appreciate your patience on that. The good news is we don't have to go back into closed session tonight, so hopefully so. With that, though, we're going to move on to item number 7, which is the invocation, and I believe Mr. Bayless is going to lead us in that. If you'll rise if you're able to for the invocation.
Absolutely. Will you please stand? Lord, we come to you tonight, thankful hearts. Lord, we're thankful for this community. We're thankful for this district. And we are thankful for the faculty, the students. And Lord, we just ask for your hand over each and every one of them as we end this school year, God. We ask for your guidance as we go through summer and as students leave the high school and move on to different aspects, whether it be college or their careers, God. We just ask that you have your hand in them. Lord, we also ask that you have your hand in each one of the decisions that we make for the district tonight, and everything that we do, God, is to further your kingdom for your glory. It's in your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. All right, at this time, we have a whole host of people that are going to help us with the Pledge of Allegiance. So as I read your name, from the McCarroll Middle School Flag Corps, we've got Joby Dobson, Jolie Proctor, Sophia Moda, Kennedy Wheeler, Reed Brent, D'Angelo Lopez, Fernando Diaz, and I hope I pronounce this right, Ariadne? How do I pronounce that? Ariadne, I'm sorry. I was close. Diaz Fernandez. So when y'all are ready, if you'll everybody just turn to the flag with your hand over your heart, and we'll start when you start. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. If you guys would stand, just stay up there. The board's going to come around there. We're going to get a picture taken with you.
And they actually had one special request that they asked. They asked if they could do the Texas pledge as well.
Oh, that's awesome. We haven't had that done in a long time. So, yes, we would appreciate you doing that. All right. Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee. Good job. Hey, thanks for that request. Now you get to do it every week or every month when we do. Okay. I know.
And while they sit down, I just want to brag. That's just a small group of the team, but they actually have about 30 students in all. A lot of them come from STEM and Rand Elementary that have flag clubs. And I know Mrs. Mosley is also working to see if she can find a sponsor at the high school to really just continue this tradition. And they do everything from learning how to fold the flag and say the pledge, and it's really just a wonderful group. So we're happy to have them. Okay, we're going to move, I think, into recognitions. We are going to start tonight with our valedictorian and salutatorian, if they can both join us. I want to recognize first Ninfa Morales. She is our salutatorian for the 2025-26 school year. And then next, I want to welcome Jaden Addington. I don't know that I really need to brag on them too much. These young ladies are really phenomenal. They're stellar in every way, academically, socially, emotionally. They really do shine, and I think a lot of times we're the teachers, we're the adults, but y'all inspire us. Y'all inspire us to do better, to be better, and we're just glad to be able to celebrate with you. And graduation is in a few days, and so we look to celebrating even further on stage. So thank you, ladies. Okay, we're going to go a little bit out of order. Next, we're going to recognize our FFA students, and they really have had just a phenomenal season. We have a lot of wonderful teachers in that program. We have a lot of wonderful students, and once again, Mr. Lackey, our Assistant Superintendent of Human Capital, is going to help us pass out certificates. And I'm just going to go in the order that they are, but know that they have many, many recognitions. So we're going to start with Michaela Bird. Wonderful last name. Teacher, yes. Ethan Corbin, Kylie Barthold, Grant Bain, Caleb McKee, Cambry Byford, sorry, I was making sure they didn't leave. Connor Lisby. Gentry Phipps. Ryan Sessions. Stella Baker. Marley Ballard. Alyssa Butler, Cambry Byford, Emma Crabtree, Hailey Hunter. I have a second one for Ryan Sessions. Thank you, Ryan. He's that special. Austin Foreman. Grace Spooner, Ethan Briseno, Grace Spooner again, and then Marley Ballard again. And our FFA students are really phenomenal. Times like this, I really get scared, honestly, of calling out. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't read y'all's names. I'm so sorry. Are they here? Get our other teachers up. Can I get Ms. Titter to join us? Who else is here? Mrs. Wheeler? Oh, there he is. Did I get everyone? Oh, Miss Stewart. Is she here too? Oh, yes, thank you. I'm sorry, y'all. These young men and women and their teachers are really phenomenal. And times like this, I really get scared of calling out any particular honors, although your certificates do have them, because I don't want to miss anything, because the work that y'all do in our community is phenomenal, and y'all are really leading the way in so many things. And then the other thing I love is y'all aren't just FFA students. Y'all are involved in so many other organizations. I don't know how you have the time. One of my favorite stories is with the ice storm and just everything that happened. And so y'all are great. We're glad to have you. We're grateful. Thank you for all that y'all do. So thank you. Next, we're going to introduce our FCCLA students. We're going to start with teacher Laura Blaylock. Solana Vidal, excuse me. Madden Mua. Sadie Walling, excuse me. Eileen Vega. One more. Paisley Stoker. Addison Campbell. Holland Hawkins. Buneri Sumanyapov. Courtney Now. Bryson Boardchart. Not sure if I did right. And then Talif Ngolio. And I know for a fact I made up a couple of those pronunciations, so y'all need an easy last name like Bird, B-I-R-D. Okay, we are welcoming Sophia Martinez. She is new this year. Like the Boy Scouts, we try to come prepared. Similar to FAA, you know, our FCCLA students really are phenomenal. They do a lot in our community, they do a lot in school, and really just taking that academic knowledge to the next level, and really, so we're really proud of you guys. Next, can I get Violet Wilson to join me? She's got that Decatur blue on. We are going to recognize our gifted and talented programs, and Mrs. Wilson is really a phenomenal teacher here at the district. She rotates between all 4 elementaries, supporting the GT classrooms 1 day a week, and nurturing them and teaching them. And one of the many accomplishments that they've had this year is these students competed in the Noetic Learning Math Contest. I told you guys about that last year, but it is really a different way of thinking about math and solving problems. This year we were talking earlier, but over 40,000 students competed in the Noetic Math Competition. 800 school districts, excuse me, and 45 states. And so for these students to be recognized amongst this group is really just phenomenal. So thank you for leading the charge. We're grateful to you, and we're going to welcome our students. We're going to start with Rena Ellis, and she's also got medals for some of them as well, so that's cool. Emma Evans. Okay, sorry. Do you want me to get Mr. Lack to help you? And we've got ribbons for these kiddos. They all received national honorable mentions within this Noetic Learning Math competition. Okay, we've got Eveline Lucas. Maggie Vanderbeer. Wyatt Moynihan. Rhett Reagan. Tucker McCrory. Rhett Kirby. Tice Sparks. Jack Burnell. For our honorable mentions, we're going to get you guys to stay up and add your colleagues, your GT colleagues, and then we'll take one big photo. I didn't realize there was like 100 cameras behind me. Okay, y'all stay up there. We're going to keep doing a couple more. Okay. And these are our team winners, and each of them has a medal that Mrs. Wilson is going to provide. And some of them are already up here. Maggie Vanderbeer. Rhett Reagan. Rena Ellis. Emma Evans. Tice Sparks. Edris Quinteros. That was my Texas twang coming out, y'all. Sebastian Alavinrega. And Jack Bernal. I have one more that Mrs. Wilson does not know about. Many of you are aware and have heard, but she was nominated for America's Favorite Teacher. That is a competition that has several rounds, and she made it through many, many rounds. Sadly, she did not get to the top spot, but we think that there was a mistake, and we probably just need to do a recount. So anyway, Mrs. Wilson, so we're so grateful. Thank you. Okay, I think that's it. My apologies.
Why do you think I wear boots? So I can get a little bit of an advantage. Okay, great. Okay. All right, we are moving on to item number 10, which is public forum. We have one speaker, so Ms. Schisler, if you could be making your way while I read this. Persons desiring to address the board must sign up at the designated time prior to the meeting. Board policy BED addresses public comment and public testimony at board meetings. Audience participation at a board meeting is limited to the public comment portions of the meeting designed for that purpose. At all other times during a board meeting, the audience shall not enter into discussion or debate on matters being considered by the board unless requested by the presenting officer. No presentation shall exceed 3 minutes. Are you going to be 3 minutes? Thank you. So you don't need a 30-second warning. Okay, Nate was hoping he was going to get to do the warning, but you don't need it, huh?
No warning.
Okay, all right.
I just wanted to take a moment to thank our community for supporting our students by passing Prop A and B in the bond. Your investment in our schools and our future of our children means more than words can express. A huge thank you to all campus district staff for their dedication throughout this process, and especially to Ms. Williams for leading the district in a new direction with transparency, honesty, and a straightforward approach that people truly appreciate. The excitement across our campus is incredible. Our staff is genuinely thrilled about a new building and what it will mean for our students, families, and community for years to come. One staff member said it best, "I don't know about y'all, but I'm excited. I feel like I'm getting a new house." That excitement and pride says everything about what this means to the people who serve our students every day. Thank you again for believing in our schools and in our future district.
Thank you, Ms. Schisler. I think you spoke for a whole lot of people. So, yes, we are all very, very excited. Okay, item number 11 is the superintendent report, so I'll turn that over to Ms. Williams.
All right, under Pillar 1, high-performing students, we have 2 state track qualifiers, Ava Green in the high jump and Keaton Good in shot put. We're excited to watch them later this week as they perform at the state level. We also have our Lady Eagle basketball state champions. They're going to have their ring ceremony Monday, May 18th, so that's coming up next week at 9:45 in the DHS gym. And then McCarroll and DHS, their fine arts programs, if you've attended any over the last week, they've, I think, had one every single night just about, but super impressive, and we're just super proud of the way they represent our district at these performances. We also have registration open for Eagle Elite and other sports camps, a great way for the students to stay engaged over the summer. Move into Pillar 2, highly engaged staff. We celebrated Teacher Appreciation this month, and so I just want to thank all of the PTO groups and the community partners who poured into our staff over the last few weeks. I've been doing listen and learn sessions, and there's not a lounge that has not been full of something that I shouldn't be eating pretty much all week, and so we couldn't honor them in that way without our community, so we're super grateful for that. Eagle EdCon has expanded to 2 days now. That's not only PD for the staff, but also an opportunity for our staff to showcase their talents. We have a lot of people signed up to share their expertise, and so that we're excited to see that come to fruition this summer. Pillar 3 is community partnerships. Agape and Associates is partnering with DEF to host their 3rd annual Agape Backpack Blessings to support families in need. And then our DHS Ag students have been working on a special request from Medical City Decatur to help with their Vital Voices staff survey. So for the project, they built a classic red telephone booth for the hospital. And it's just one example of the way that our student talent can be embedded and worked into the community. And then finally, Pillar 4, strategic resource management. Attendance has been great this last week, which is good. We just need to get through the next 8 days with a good attendance rate. Staying above 95% is the preference. And then the final thing, which Ms. Schisler already mentioned, was just thanking our community for the overwhelming support of the May Bond. We're really eager to get started and expand opportunities for students. So that's all I have.
Okay, all right, thank you, Ms. Williams. Item number 12 is the consent agenda. 12A is just the minutes from April the 20th. There is one budget amendment that needed to be handled regarding the bond, the expenditures towards the bond. Purchases greater than $25,000, which we have none this month. We're actually going to pull 12D, which is the accounting treatment for capitalization, because TASB will be coming out with a new policy in the coming months, so we're going to wait on their guidance. So we're pulling 12D out of the consent part of this. And then 12E, which is consider all matters incident and related to the adoption of a resolution expressing official intent to reimburse costs of projects, also a formality that we need to do in order for we can start expenditures and then get reimbursed out of the bond as those are issued. So at this time, I would, any discussion on any of the consent items? If not, I will entertain a motion.
Mr. President, I recommend the board approve the consent agenda except for 12D, which you pulled.
All right, I have a motion from Chief Campbell. Do I have a second? I have a second from Ms. Alvarez. Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Motion passes 6-0. Next item is 13, discussion items, 13A, which is UIL homeschool participation of students outside of DISD. Hello, Ms. Boatwright.
Good evening. I wanted to just give you an update. We held our UIL homeschool informational meeting on, I don't remember the date exactly. However, it was the night we had severe storms. We still had one parent show up, so that was good, but I have gotten some emails on inquiries. One of the things I wanted to bring before you just for discussion, so you can consider it, is I've had a number of people who live outside of our school district in some of the smaller county schools that they do not allow UIL participation, and so those students want to come to Decatur and participate. We shared a couple of months ago our numbers of students participating at this time, and so that was something I just told those parents that I'd be glad to bring to the board so that you can discuss that. We didn't have an influx, like we just weren't sure this year, and so we've adjusted some of our processes within the application system, but I also wanted to bring for your consideration possibly allowing students, for example, I have a couple of boys from Boyd that want to play here, and so that's just one example, and they just want to bring their kids here for that UIL participation. So just for your discussion and consideration.
Do you know about how many you've gotten? How many
So
requests?
far, I've gotten about 4 or 5. Well, I know I've gotten throughout the whole year at least 6 that have called wanting.
But not 100. Like,
Oh, no, not 100. And it's not that, I mean, and these are kids who play like tournament ball and club ball and participate in, band or whatever, and so they want to participate with our students because they play with some of the kids, and so they know them already. And so I just told them that I would bring it to your, for y'all to discuss, so.
Was there any indication that they were looking for, is the majority of them looking for one particular activity, or are they looking for multiple?
Sometimes I think usually, well, I've had baseball, I've had a band, I've had let me see.
No,
I don't remember.
actually,
Just one or two activities. It's not that they want to influx and join everything.
No, I actually was just like, is there like one student who does multiple things, so that, obviously we're looking at revenue and,
Right.
and so.
We don't, like that student, I have a couple of students that have asked about, I have a chart that I keep track of just so I know for sure how many have inquired. And, but I didn't pull that information, but I think most of them are interested in one or two activities. We haven't really had any interest in the academic participation, but I did provide a list, so that would be like your academic teams that practice after school and go to competitions. But sports is the biggest, but I have had a couple of inquiries about band as well, so.
And this is just a discussion. We just, when talking to those parents, said that it was something that we would bring to you guys, and there's no action or anything on this item tonight.
All right. Any questions further from Ms. Boatwright? Not? Okay. Well, thank you for bringing that to us, and we will discuss it more, I'm sure, in the future. Okay. Thank you. Next, we have 13B, which is 2026-2027 calendar start times for McCarroll Middle School and STEM Elementary.
You get me again.
I get you again. Lucky
Yes. I believe you had a chart, a graphic that was placed at your seat. What we just kind of wanted to talk about right now, Carson, Rand, and Young are scheduled next year to start at 7:30 and go to 3:50. STEM is the only elementary. It's scheduled to start at 7:20 and go to 3:40. McCarroll is 7:30 to 3:50, which is the same as the other elementaries. And then the high school is 8 to 4:20 for next year. We have a couple of challenges with that. One, Ennis has an earlier start time than the other elementaries. One option is to standardize the start times for our elementaries. And And I'll talk about why in just a second. And then challenge number 2 was McCarroll has the same start time as Carson, Rand, and Young. So if we have a parent who has middle school students and one of those campuses, they are all over and it's almost impossible to get them to school on time. And so we're seeing a lot of that. And so we want to make it as easy and safe for our students and parents as we can. So we have a couple of solutions. Well, first of all, I want to talk a little bit about when Ennis first opened, their day was a little bit longer because they had an engineering block. So we added a few minutes to theirs versus the rest of the elementary schools. And then the chart, the historical chart is down at the bottom of your page. So just consider that over the years. And then the elementaries have, the majority of the time, had the same start time as McCarroll, and then the staggered start time between Ennis and McCarroll is because of the transportation issues and the congestion, the traffic congestion that we see there. So we have, in the center of your flyer, we have some possible solutions. So the first one, what has happened is we do not provide traditionally, we did not provide AM buses because STEM was a choice school. So we did not provide buses in the morning coming to school. Now we have since started providing that for a few students. Those students are dropped off at STEM, then that bus goes to RAN. And so therefore that staggered start time helps those students both be on time. Right now for that morning bus route, we only have 9 STEM students. So this would impact 9 students. So you could discontinue the AM bus service at Ennis. And then you could change MMS time to 7:40 to 4. So then STEM would be the same start time as all other elementaries. So every elementary in the district would be 7:30 to 3:50. McCarroll could go 7:40 to 4. And then you have that staggered start time between those 2 campuses to help with that congestion. So you have some choices. You can just discontinue the bus service at Ennis. You can change that MMS time, or you can do both of those, all 3 of those things. Change the MMS time, change the Ennis time, and discontinue the bus services at Ennis for the morning. So this is a discussion item for you, so I don't know if you have questions for me.
Can I ask, how would discontinuing the AM bus for Ennis, how would that help with the staggered, or how would that help with those that have to drop off at Carson, Rand, Young?
Because right now, Ennis starts 10 minutes earlier because that bus has to get to Rand next. So they collect the students, they have the 9 Ennis students on their bus route, and so that bus goes to Ennis, drops off, then it goes to Rand. And so.
No, I'm saying, how does that help if somebody has a middle schooler and a young student, how does just doing number 1, how does that affect?
It doesn't.
It doesn't.
That was my
It won't.
question.
So please do consider the fact that it needs to impact, the best. I'm not saying what, is preferable for us, but you have to consider all 3. You could do nothing, and we could keep it as it is, or we could consider any one of these 3 things. It won't, the first 2 will not impact everyone.
I've done the rat race.
Yes.
From Carson to middle school.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's
So,
tough.
can I ask, so when did we start providing bus service at Ennis? I didn't know that was even a thing.
I know we do the 5 years ago, I think is what we
Well, that's when the school opened, but
That's when it opened. We did not provide it, we provided after school. We did not provide morning buses at the beginning of the school.
Yeah, Kyle and I there's
So,
really no
I'm
way
not
to
sure
know.
there's
It was
anyone
before both
here.
of us, before he came back and before I was here, we know that much.
I know.
Can I say,
Well,
I'm not
before
sure.
anybody up here.
I'm not sure there's anyone up here
I
that
know,
knows.
I know. I was just curious, because when
we've tried
it was
to
brought to my
track some of that
attention, I
down.
I
Yeah.
didn't even know we were
they didn't
doing
when
it.
it opened, and then I'm assuming either that next year or the year after,
Okay.
We picked up a few
they started doing it.
to help with that.
All right. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions? Okay. Thank you, Ms. Boatright.
Thank you.
I think we are done with it. Okay, so we're going to move on to item number 14, which is our action items. First up is 14A, consider and take possible action regarding Senate Bill 546 on three-point seat belts. Who is discussing this for us? Kyle, there you go.
So the state is requiring us to have an open session that the board decide whether or not we have the funds to add the seatbelts to our existing fleet, not what our fleet would be in 2 or 3 years. So right now, our existing fleet is a little over $1.2 million to add the seatbelts because it has to go on every bus, even athletic buses. It's about $38,000 a bus would be the average with the bond passing, which we're excited about that. The deadline is 2029, so the more buses we purchase now, the better it will be in the long run. If we could get those when, 3 years even. Gary and I had a meeting, we were talking about that. If we did get 15 buses before the deadline, then it would be $580,000 would be probably what it would cost. There are going to be grants from the state for this that we can apply for, but we have to keep that bus for 5 years like we talked about in the fleet. That's a very fluid, very challenging thing with aged buses, but we picked the best buses we've had to stay in the fleet, and the oldest ones that have taken the most man hours and costly repairs to change first. And so we just need the board to decide if we have the money or not.
I think we all can probably answer that question, but we'll go through the process. So, okay, any questions?
Yeah, the bond that we just passed, how much essentially do we have earmarked for transportation?
It's about $4 million, mostly for buses and some white fleet.
So 4 million, how many buses does that essentially get us? And we don't have to use that all right now. You can waterfall that, correct? Yeah.
We're
Yeah,
staggering it, right?
It's 20-plus buses.
And we have how many buses right now?
32 that would be in the replacement, 5-year replacement schedule. Yeah. We have 36, but 32. Yeah.
How,
That leaves you
And- but
essentially
we have-
12 buses that we would still have that don't have, because all the
Yeah.
new buses would have the new
Right.
seatbelts.
Yes, all the
And
new
we have
buses would
4
come with,
buses.
they would be qualified.
Currently.
Yeah, we would have a dozen buses that we would have to take the grant for and keep in the fleet. Yeah.
I'm not trying to ask you to be Nostradamus or anybody, but, trying to predict the future. But do you feel that we could meet that 5-year with those 12 buses that, they would hold up? I mean, I know, I'm sorry, I have to ask the question. So, in your estimation, that's all we're asking, is your opinion, that,
I'd say we'd have to.
because you don't want to pass up that kind of grant money.
Yeah.
And I know the 5-year stipulation is a little bit much, but, that would be a lot of money.
Yeah, those buses are worth $20,000 to sell, and we got to put $38,000 into them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just not a good idea, in my opinion. Yeah.
So Kyle, quick question. As it relates to like a replacement plan, I know that's something you've been working on, but would it be more beneficial to look at what that replacement plan is? And obviously this would probably be a conversation with Gary as well. But if we know there's going to be probably what we'd say half a dozen or so that need, would it not be beneficial to go ahead and just change that up and say, okay, look, instead of adding this particular, split that, if it's going to be a replacement plan, and say, okay, instead of leaving those 12 hanging out there, take 6 now, add to this initial first replacement plan, and then leave the remaining 6 for the second side of that replacement plan. And then we're replacing all of them and not having to tap into that any, because I'm like you, I don't know that throwing state money even at crap is beneficial.
Yeah. Gary and I had a conversation about that, and we think it's a good idea that if the more buses we can buy now within that 3 years, the better we will be. Instead of following the 5-year plan, if we did the 3-year plan, we would come out way ahead. Yeah.
All right. Well, for tonight, we're voting on, whether we have the funds to do this. And so, does someone, any other questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
I recommend the district does not retrofit the current buses because of insufficient funds.
I have a motion from Ms. Schneider. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second from Chief Campbell. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Motion passes 6-0. 14B, consider and take possible action regarding the school resource officer agreement. Open for any discussion or questions at this time. And if there are none, I will entertain a motion for that as well.
Mr. President, I'd like to abstain from the vote.
I understand, Chief Campbell, appreciate that.
I recommend the board approve the SRO agreement.
Have a motion from Mr. Bayless. Do I have a second?
I second.
Have a second from Ms. Schneider. Any other discussion or questions? If not, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Motion passes 5-0 with Chief Campbell abstaining. 14C, consider and take possible action regarding a request for qualifications of RFQ for a construction architect. And you were welcome, Mr. Mazinski, if you wanted to stay, but you're already up here to the board, so come on up. Come on down.
I'm sure somewhere years ago the board did an RFQ for a qualification for architect. I'm dealing with an insurance thing from 5 years ago where I can't find information. So when you bring in $137 million, we're going to start from scratch, and we feel that it would be best to put an RFQ out for architect. And I want to make something really clear here. This is absolutely absolutely does not shine one way or the other on Brett. What it is starting over so you get your written documents. So you have everything starting from scratch, because you are about to embark on a pretty very, very legal detailed journey. So we would like to ask the board for permission to do RFQ for architect. And the other thing is, we're not just after this. We need some, Kyle needs some engineers, like you want to do small jobs. It's not just for that. We'd like to get a pool of engineers for Kyle as well. And what kind of engineers specifically? What's that? MEP. Okay. So we would actually have bring in one proposal, have a lot of trades apply and get your approval.
Any questions for Mr. Mazinski regarding this?
Quick question, and maybe a little premature. Have we decided which process we're going to look as far as, would that be in the RFQ, whether it's going to be a CMAR process or a general?
Discussion tonight, and then that will come later.
Okay.
This is just the architect.
All right. Yep, no other questions for Gary? Then I'll entertain a motion.
I recommend the board approve a request for qualifications RFQ for a construction architect and engineer.
I have a motion from Ms. Schneider. Do I have a second? I think I heard Nate beat you to it, so I'm going to give that the second to Mr. Bayless. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say no. Nay, whatever. It's late. Sorry, I'm stumbling. That motion passes 6-0. All right, 14D, which is consider and take possible action regarding hiring of our professional personnel for the 2026-2027 school year, as was discussed in closed session. So if there's any discussion, if not, I will entertain a motion.
Mr. President, I recommend the board approve the hiring of the professional personnel for the 2026-2027 school year.
I have a motion from Ms. Alvarez. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second from Chief Campbell. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Motion passes 6-0. All right. Now we get to the part everybody came for. 14E, consider and take possible action regarding athletic director, head football coach. Does anybody want to discuss it, or you just want to make a motion?
I say we just make a motion.
Jump in there.
All right, I'm excited. I recommend the board approve the hiring of Cliff Watkins as the athletic director and head football coach.
Have a motion from Mr. Bayless to approve the hiring of Coach Watkins. Do I have a second?
I second.
Have a second from Ms. Schneider. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Motion passes unanimously 6-0 for Coach Watkins. Coach, we're very excited to have you and your family. We've heard great things about all four of you. So this is not just about Coach Watkins, it's about the whole family. Y'all are a package. So we appreciate, I know it's a little scary sometimes making this move, but I promise you Decatur will welcome you and support you strongly, as strong as you had in Glen Rose, if not better. And you'll look great in blue, I promise you. Not that you didn't look good in red, but blue looked goods on you. Yeah, so anyway, glad to have you. Thank you. Okay, move on to 14F. Consider and take possible action for delegating of hiring authority for contractual personnel to the superintendent from May 12th to September 30th, 2026. Just so the public knows, this is a normal request. We do this almost every year because of the speed of which we need to fill positions and the timing of trying to get the board, 7 board members or a quorum together. We usually delegate this that authority to the superintendent, and so we are asking to do that again. Any discussion on that from the board? And if not, then I will entertain a motion on that.
I recommend the board extend the hiring authority for contractual personnel to the superintendent from May 12th to September 30th, 2026.
Have a motion from Mr. Bayless. Do I have a second?
Second.
A second from Chief Campbell. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Motion passes 6-0. All right, that is all the action items for tonight. We're now moving on to information. The first up is 15A. This is the staffing study report from Mr. Lackey. Hey, Lyle. Red.
Hello. Yeah, I usually don't have a problem with microphones. I bring to you tonight, board, a informational item, which is a staffing study that we had done by Moak Casey, and I'll kind of highlight some of the main stuff that they presented to us and gave to us, and what we are using as information for our staffing decisions this year. So real quick, just kind of the purpose of the Moak Casey staffing study was to provide Decatur ISD with an objective comparison of our staffing model against similar districts and regional and state benchmarks to help guide future staffing decisions. The analysis compared Decatur ISD to peer districts, including Lampasas, Maybank, Needville, Stephenville, and Toloso Midway ISDs using TEA PEMS and taper data that is similar to ours. So basically what we're trying to do in this study is compare apples to apples. So we can kind of see some of the things that these other districts have that we have from the standpoint, and then we can kind of look at that and make a valid comparison. So some of the highlights of this are showing that our enrollment growth has stabilized, but student needs continue to increase. So over the last 5 years, Decatur ISD in 2020-2021 was at 3,429 students. 2024-2025 was 3,786. So our growth is at about 10.4%. If you look at those numbers, and then the next thing that Moak Casey showed us was that compared to our peer districts with instructional staffing, the numbers that we have compared to them, Decatur ISD is higher in students per teacher, because our students have grown, but yet our staffing numbers really haven't grown that much. So when you look at those numbers, Decatur ISD is at about 15.79 per students per teacher, whereas Lampasas was 14.17, Maybank was 14.54, Needville 14.89, Stephenville 13.35, and Toloso Midway 14.79. So again, that just shows that Decatur is operating with fewer classroom teachers, relative to our student enrollment than our peer districts. I will jump real quick into another highlight that they hit was that district level staffing is not top heavy. A common concern in school districts is whether central office staffing has grown disproportionately, and this study suggests that is not the case for Decatur ISD. Students per central administration staff, Decatur is right around 378.6 students per administrator, where peer districts often ranged much lower. This suggests that Decatur's central office structure remains relatively lean and aligned with operational needs. This report also notes that TEA coding changes impacted this category statewide. The main area, though, that jumped out at us was our student support staffing needs attention. And the areas that they highlighted for us was our students per student services staff. And Decatur is right around 135 students per support staff members. Peer districts that we've already defined, they are serving fewer students per support staff member. So the implication of this that Mo Casey highlighted for us was that as students' behavioral, academic, mental health, and special education needs continue to rise, this is an area that may require future strategic investment. And so looking at that, and then also another thing that they highlighted for us was our educational aides are higher compared to many peers. So we have aides, we just have to get them proportioned in the right areas, and that's something that we're looking at doing. Students per educational aide is right around 58.58. The last thing that we had Mo Casey look at was our auxiliary operations staffing, and it is showing us that it remains efficient. It trends slightly higher than other districts, but Decatur's transportation, maintenance, custodial, child nutrition, and operational staffing remains relatively efficient compared to our peer districts, and we're at about students per auxiliary staff, 30.8. So moving forward, this study it's not going to drive our immediate decision making, but it gives us a lot of information and a lot of data to look at to make sure we are being strategic and that we are making data-informed decisions in moving forward. So as we continue to review staffing for the 2026-27, this data will help us align staffing with academic priorities, protect classroom experiences, evaluate student support needs, ensure long-term financial sustainability, and continue operating efficiently while meeting rising expectations for student outcomes. What questions do you have for me or Ms. Williams?
A lot of information drop on us all at once.
A lot, yes.
But it's telling in a lot of
It is,
areas, and it
yeah.
confirms some things that we've known, but at least
Correct.
it's nice to, have that confirmed, so.
And again, these are all the things that we are using in guiding our conversations with our principals, with our directors, and we're using this data and these things to talk about, are you being most strategic with our people and with our money? And where are we putting our people?
Any questions? Okay, that's good information, so thank you. Appreciate it. All right, 15B, this is preliminary steps of construction and bond sales. Mr. Sumrow, would you please, Gary's doing this, okay. Oh, good, I like both. Look, I don't care. Y'all just, whichever, y'all arm wrestle it, whoever wants to go first. I could have said leg wrestle, that would have been real funny.
All right, and new one for you. Press down and we'll go forward. Okay. You have any questions, let me know.
Thank you. We're going to talk very briefly about what happened after the bond election, and then Brett's going to go ahead and talk about some of the methods of construction. I think that's one of the things that Chief talked about here. So let me see if I can figure this out. All right, we approved two propositions. I got a slide's going to go pretty fast. Not going to rehash stuff that you know. What happened? Where you're at right now, the voters authorize you to issue bonds, and that's it. That's it. If we do nothing, the money's not going to come. Nothing. I mean, it just sits there. And you don't have to authorize. You could authorize 50 million, 100 million. You don't have to do it all at once. Dallas did, I think, $6 billion worth of bonds, and they probably don't have the debt capacity to do that. But when they're ready, they then have the authority, and that's where you're sitting. In this first Proposition A, this is how we broke that down, and we'll set the budgets up that way. But I will tell you, when you look at the proposition itself, it doesn't break it down. So if something goes really crazy with inflation or something, and Brett can't bring you, if he's short $1 million, you do have the flexibility to move within. And I would have told you, 6 months ago, what a great time to do something. But boy, things seem to be changing daily. Inflation has not quite hit the construction industry, but yet. But I think Brett is going to feel it coming. There's Proposition B. That's by itself. It will be 100% funded. You're not going to move that to the voters approved that for technology, student computers, and that's where that's going to stay. We talk about debt sales and compliance, and I can't stress the fact that you are entering a tremendously legislated area of when you start borrowing $137 million, and that debt will float around in markets for years and be sold. The debt will be sold on a certain date. And once they're issued, the bonds going to be resold in the secondary market. And because of that, there are a lot of regulations, okay? And that's, we talked about that. Why do people want to buy these bonds? Well, if you have a 6% corporate bond and you're taxed at 35%, the net effect earnings on that is 3.9%. Your bonds that you're going to sell are generally tax exempt. So if 4%, if it's tax exempt, a 4% municipal bond is better than a 6% corporate bond that's the tax on. That's kind of basic, but everyone doesn't always stop and think about why would you buy a bond at 4% when you can find 6%? The tax effects. I want to talk about something that is very important with arbitrage. And what arbitrage is borrowing money at a lower rate and investing the funds at a higher rate. Right now, we're probably about a 4.5% payment on the bonds, and you're earning about 3.6% interest on the bonds. So you're not in an arbitrage situation. However, the IRS did not make the rules so that school districts should have bond issues and just have an endless cash flow and not issue the bonds and not use the bonds. These projects that we do have spend down timelines. And the reason I say that, it's particularly technology people like to have bond issues and then maybe take set a couple million aside for 5 years. We have to be careful when we do that because the Internal Revenue Service expects you to spend it down reasonably efficient. Now, failure to follow the IRS rules can result in your bonds being taxable. And I will tell you, if a school district's bonds were taxable and they're spread across the nation into grandma's portfolio, insurance portfolios, investments with companies like General Motors or Ford, and they become taxable, you will hear about it. I don't know that I've ever heard a case about that, but that is a really, you would probably have lawsuits for the rest of our lives. Because the tax exempt debt's issued, it has to be repaid according to our laws. I already talked about what interest earn. Interest is when the money that we're given by the bondholders earns more than we're going to pay them back. So we're basically getting more money. It's almost like free energy, coming out of nowhere. And that's the goal of the Internal Revenue Service, so that you don't profit by you don't do bond issues to profit. And I say all this is because we have thresholds. The first threshold, the primary one we'll work with, is a 3-year. Brett and I have talked about that this morning. However, there is, if an architect or engineer, just depends, says, look, this is a 5-year, every project can't be done in 3 years, then there are exceptions for these spending rules, and you're not in trouble. The danger is just spending and not paying attention to your interest earnings, okay? That's the danger. And we are well aware, I have a slide in here somewhere, we will use the 3-year threshold to get started. And then if we need more time, then the architect will if it takes more time, it takes more time. I mean, who knows what the future brings. I do want to say that we pay someone to do annual arbitrage calculations for it. It is a weird little field of all your bonds, all the interest you earned. It's kind of a little specialist, just like they're, specialized attorneys in auto accidents, I guess. They're accountants that specialize in arbitrage calculations, because we want to make sure that our bond portfolio and our debt service is following the rules. Okay. The benefits of selling bonds and in the issues of waiting. The first thing is we have to have bond capacity in the debt service rate, and we do have that. The second thing is if we monitor arbitrage and invest the funds will generate interest. That is the advantage of selling them, of moving forward and not waiting for December to sell these things. Now you should sit there and relax on this next one. If you take $137 million and take an interest rate of 3.5%, it's actually 3.6% today, you get $4.75 million interest. Now, some of you work in finance, and that doesn't mean anything, but still, as much as I look at numbers, that's wow to me. That's $400,000 a month, okay? 3 months of interest rates would be $1.2 million is enough to fund the equipment for the junior high. In fact, that's how we funded the entire furniture at the high school. When we built the high school, is off of interest earnings. Plus, if there's a little inflation or something, that lets it kick it in. And I really don't think it would be. I think you could probably furnish it for $400,000. I really do. I don't know that it would take $1.2 million. So because of that, we are anxious to get started. What is our goal? You canvass the election tonight, and then your financial advisor, Jeff Robert, he's going to apply to the permanent school fund so that these bonds are guaranteed by this permanent school fund. Now, what happens is the permanent school fund says, we will guarantee Decatur will make their bond payments. That will get you the highest, best rating on the bonds. When these bonds are sold, people will come from all over the nation because Texas school bonds are sought after. These bonds, they go into insurance portfolios, they go everywhere. But you have to apply for it, and right now there is capacity. There's not always been capacity, but there is capacity right now. A lot of this is internal, but I'll go through it quickly. Financial advisor will send the official statement to us to work with all these bonds. There is a statement about everything about Decatur ISD. The ones that we did last year, it was just a refunding, so they didn't talk about it much. But your names are in there, and what you do for a living, all sorts of stuff about Taylor, myself, all sorts of stuff about school finance. These float forever until those bonds are paid off, whether they be 2 years or 10 years. This is the official statement. And it's a lot of work goes back and forth in writing this. Also, your audit part of your audit is in here, and so that is the first thing that we work on, because the day the bonds are sold, this needs to be complete. Your bond ratings are up in the upper right-hand side of this. So we'll return it on the 3rd. Once we get done with the bond statement, it goes to bond counsel. He'll proof it, and then June 10th, the election contest period ends. Most you'd have to do something pretty serious to get involved with that. That should be fine. And on the 11th, we'll write comments. You got a bunch of professional bond people, attorneys, finance majors, from underwriters and stuff reading this thing. You would be amazed the amount of stuff, including grammar, that they can find to correct. I get so embarrassed, like, well, why didn't I catch that? We're not in Oklahoma. It's just amazing how these guys, they read it and they correct it for the official statement. We have a board meeting in June. We're going out of the gate into board meeting. We're going to recommend you adopt a parameter authorizing up to $137,000. The point is, we're not letting any moss grow under our feet. We're moving straight forward with this, so we will have that for you at the next board meeting. We don't have to determine whether we sell it all at that time, but we are having the parameter to do that. We have to get rated. You're going to need 2 ratings for this. Tell you a little story. 20 years ago, there was a district not too far from here, and used to be in the old days, all the boards would go to New York and get rated, have a good time, and then the New York people would just tag it on their bill, and the district paid for it anyways. So some district near us, about 20 years ago, they all went to New York, and our financial advisor says, you can take care of that with a phone call in Dallas. So anyways, do with that little deal what you may. We will have rating calls with Moody's and Fitch. We just did Moody's in August. We're gonna they'll go through your budget. They'll go through your current year budget. It's budget and property value. They want to know, can you repay the bonds, and they will rate us. We're gonna have to pull some rabbits out of a hat, but I think we have a few rabbits to pull out, to be honest with you. So we'll have those two talks. We should get the permanent school fund guarantee in June. That just a matter of application. That's all it is. You don't send me financial data or anything. We already talked about the permanent school funds. It guarantees and gives you the highest rating. And the ratings that Fitch and Moody's will give us are called secondary ratings. Those secondary ratings may count to some investors. Other investors may say it's guaranteed by the school fund. That's all that matters. There's never been a default on a Texas school bond that's been guaranteed by the state of Texas. Because if a district did not pay, all they do is pay the bondholders, and then they withhold payment of the day-to-day operating fund, and the district will have to deal with that on its own. It pretty much shuts you down. So pretty serious business, and we take it very serious. Again, late in June, they'll take that preliminary statement and give it to the underwriter council. I want to talk to you about what is an underwriter. Bonds are sold in one day. They go out to the market in one day, and the underwriters guys help us sell it. And if for some reason something wacky happens, they buy them. That's what it's. That's why you have them. They say, okay, if you let us go ahead and market these, we'll probably have 3 to 4 underwriters. I think in the last time we sold in last August, we just had 1. It wasn't that big of a refunding. This time we'll have 3 to 4. It's a pretty huge bond issue that you're selling. Bonds are, because the bonds, we don't sell them directly. You can't go on the day of sale and buy a bond yourself. You've got to buy it through one of the underwriters. And then we will come up, I've visited probably with 20 underwriters have come, once the election's passed or once we called the election, you got email a day saying, how they want to be the underwriter. We probably use a negotiated sale. You can use a competitive sale, but one of the problems with that is if you get what you get on that day, you have no ability to say, hey, I'd like my bonds. Well, you want your bond payments to be constant, so you want to serialize them out so that your debt rate is constant. Well, if you get everybody saying, all I want is 2-year bonds and that's it, you're in some trouble. So this allows you to smooth out the structure. And last thing I'll tell you, if anyone's interested, I've never had anyone interested, but it's always an option to go and watch them trade that day. If someone were to be interested, I will definitely, the underwriters that I recommend, I'll make sure they have Dallas or local trading desk. Funding, this is just a due diligence call. Again, this thing comes up and down to make sure it's right. Once it's done, we get it all right about July, basically put it on the internet and say, we tell the world we're selling bonds and this is what we're doing, okay? Once it's on the internet, then people that are looking for the debt can see it. Now your underwriters better be out there, knocking on doors too. The insurance companies, they better be. That's their job, because they don't want to hold the bonds. They want them to be passed off. Independently, we will set up. We'll have to set up, obviously, on our books accounts for each one of these funds, and on our investment tax pool, we'll have to set up accounts for tax pool so we can earn that whatever that interest was there, that $400,000 a month. And you'll have to set up some downstream bank accounts, because now and then you will have smaller vendors. You'll have big wires to your contractor and big wires to your architect, because they make the big money and drive the big cars. But there will be smaller downstream things that you'll have to set up. We expect to get the ratings and more. That's an internal thing. But we should get our 2 ratings. We're shooting for that on the 6th. We're shooting for pricing on the 9th, and we have to be careful. You don't want to do it before the 4th. All those bankers, they're like, we're all human. They're on 4th of July vacation. So you want to get there when there's plenty of people that come back to work, and we want to do pricing. We're scheduling for that. And obviously these are plus or minus 1 or 2 days, but that's the date we're trying to price. You would get your bonds delivered August 9th, and at the same time you would receive AG approval. Again, so you can see we're in a very short timeline if we can work this out. Related items on this. First of all, you may have to hire an architect internally. We talked about that earlier tonight. You're most likely going to use an AIE contract. I've never not used one. American Institute of Architects contract, never not used one. However, I say that those are complex, and there will be some attorney there. You're going to have some legal fees bouncing those back and forth on both sides of the fence, because again, when you talk about the size of what you're doing, you cannot afford to let anything slip through the cracks. Next, I want to go back to what the chief talked about. You are required to select the method of construction. Now, just by selecting it doesn't start construction, but you are required. And I want to say something. Your first step is to hire your engineer. You probably generally would not hire your contractor first. Your architect has to work with that contractor, and if that contractor, if there's, you have to have a very positive relationship and stuff, but you really need your architect needs to be familiar with that. They need they need to like each other, okay? Because there's a lot of, especially, well, at all through the phases, depending on what kind of style you use to build, there could be some, when we built the high school, we had a choice, right? Do we add 9 classrooms? Do we add more square footage here because we had extra money? I mean, there are lots of things, and that architect is every bit of important to say, okay, this is what you could do this, and they have to work in conjunction with the contractor. Okay, so you'll be required, and Brett's going to talk about those 6 methods because he's much more familiar with them. And I can tell you, we did, if I remember right, multi-purpose building high school in, let's see, Young. We did at Risk, and there's nothing wrong. You shouldn't do it just because we did it there. But if you look at the process of why we did that, that's what you want to consider. I'm not telling you did it at Risk. I'm just telling you, you want to look at the process. You could bid it out, but who would do that? I mean, what if you hit a bunch of rock and stuff and you're sitting there with that's a kiss of death. But I mean, so Brett's going to go over those and make some good recommendations or talk to you about that for that. I'm not going to go through these because Brett's going to do this. But my point is, if you go home tonight and says, I really enjoyed that extra hour Masinski talked about when I wanted to go, you can say it's in your board book, okay? Not your board book, it's in your board policy. All of these, there's a paragraph about each in your policy. And really, it just comes down to you'll see. Brett and I, we haven't kind of conspired together, but you're going to see it just comes down to really 1 or 2 of those. After that, once you choose a method, you've got an architect. Your architect should help you with an AA contract with the contractor. He should help you with that. You should not be on your own. There's different methods to hire a contractor, and you want to hire a person that's knowledgeable because when you're building, you are entering into the Texas government code about public entities. You are leaving the Texas Education Code, and it tells you certain ways that you have to do stuff. And we're not all, as educators, that familiar with the government code, but your architect should be. Last thing I'm going to talk about before I move on to Brett, about House Bill 1522. That's a bill that went into effect last year, and I just wrote it down so I could see it. But what this says, and there's a whole bunch to talk about. What does it say? But in short, what it says, when you start talking about a new budget that's going to affect the taxpayers, you have to post you know what agenda is. We post an agenda, don't we? Every time we have Laura posts an agenda for us. This says when you start, this is brand new. When you start talking about a new budget, a proposed a budget after September 1st, 25, you need to post it. Okay, so don't be as we do our general fund budget. Apparently, we're going to have to post this, and it says, and if you ever make changes, but once you have a proposed budget, you don't ever make changes. You amend it, but you don't change it. So this is going to have to be ironed out. So don't be shocked. And the other thing you have to do is, when you do the truth in taxation, we calculate the average. The tax rate we apply to the average house. But in this bill, you have to take that effect of the taxes on the median taxpayer value of a home. It doesn't even use the same value as the truth in taxation. So we will do it. We probably won't spend a lot of time talking about it, but it's part of the Opens Records Act, and we, in fact, will follow the law. And the next thing is Brett. You ready, sir?
That's your best slide right there.
You didn't enjoy.
All right, sir. All right. And you. I thought Gary was going to keep going and just do it all for me. You got me started.
All right, sir. Down to progress.
Okay.
Up to go backwards.
I'm already on? Okay. Thanks, Gary, for that introduction. Yeah, so I was just asked to share the 6 construction delivery methods that are allowed in the state of Texas. And like Gary said, it's the Texas Government Code, Chapter 2269, that describes these, the contracting and delivery procedures for construction projects for governmental entities. The TEA requires school boards to approve any method other than competitive bid. And I will tell you, you don't want to use competitive bid, and I'll tell you why. So you will need to be, you will need to eventually approve the delivery method. These different delivery methods, and the reason they exist is to allow flexibility for school districts or other governmental entities in contracting what provides the best value for them. You can approve all of the projects in a bond for the same delivery method, or you can do different delivery methods for different projects. It's completely up to you. So the first one I'm going to talk about is the competitive bidding. And that is a scenario where your design team prepares your drawings and your bid documents, and you put it out to the contracting world for bid and get prices. Typically, the pros are, typically it results in a lower upfront cost per square foot because of that competitive bidding environment. And then you have a single source of construction responsibility. That general contractor, you contract with them, and then they owe you the building and the project at the end of it. The cons are, you are required to take the lowest bid. Even if that's a really low-ball, unqualified person, you're required to take that low bid. And then there's no negotiation in the process. Competitive bidding is not generally utilized by school districts in the state of Texas. And the reason is, if you wanted to go competitive bidding, a better selection would be competitive sealed proposals. It's very similar to competitive bidding in that your design team prepares your bid documents and then will help facilitate for the district to put those documents out for bid, and then you're still collecting the price for the whole project from contractors. The difference is it allows you also to set other selection criteria in addition to cost. And so, and you publicize that criteria, and you can weight it. Generally, when you do a competitive sealed proposal, you will weight the cost as a higher percentage, and then you'll put other qualifications like experience, resumes, location, those types of things, so that you get the best value comparing cost and qualifications. Generally, you would take the lowest cost, but occasionally you might have someone that's not really qualified, or they're coming in for out of state, so you may go to the second one, and you're still having a low cost. It's a little bit more, but it's a less risky venture. I kind of hit some of those. It is a balance of cost and quality. It's kind of the cons. The owner does not view individual subcontractor bids, so you don't get any input in the subs. The contractor is not on board during the design process, so there's not a lot of input back and forth, either from a cost estimating standpoint or logistical concerns on the project, phasing, those types of things that you might want to partner with. You don't have a price because, like I say, there's no cost estimating along the way until you bid it and when the design is complete. And then Gary mentioned a little bit, there is potential for change orders for any unknown or unforeseen conditions that might come up during construction. CSP is ideal for projects with clear scopes and few unknowns. CSP was used a lot in Texas. It and construction manager at risk that we'll talk about were the two most widely used. Usually CSP for new buildings on new sites where there's less unknowns, and CM would happen more on if there's a difficult site, or if you're getting into an existing building where you may have some unforeseen. I will say COVID changed that because of the long lead times on delivery methods, that because of that, your potential for change orders, districts were open to a lot of risk on delivery, and there's less flexibility to deal with those things. It's coming back a little bit. Some of those long lead items, they're not as bad as they were. There's still some out there, but it's a little more known, but you still have to plan a little bit in advance, and this is not quite as flexible in doing that. Still a good method, hasn't completely come back since COVID because of those reasons. And then construction manager at risk. This is the most common delivery method right now for public schools in Texas. In this case, you would put out an RFP, request for proposals, with a project description, and you would get, they would propose basically a fee percentage, construction manager at risk, and then later the CM would put the bids out, or the documents once they're complete, out and competitively bid it to subcontractors. So it's a cost plus fee, basically, the cost of the cost of work plus or times their fee multiplier. Construction managers, the pros are they're involved earlier in the project, can talk about logistics, phasing, and those types of things, and actually can have input in some of the design details on constructability, even things that they're seeing in the market on materials, deliveries, those type of things. They will provide cost estimating services. The owner can have input on subcontractor selection. So you do get to see when they bid the subcontractor scopes of work, you get to see those bids. And if there's and can have input on the selection if there's a contractor or sub that maybe does a lot of work in the district and they're local and there's an advantage to have them, even if they cost more, you can make that decision or not. You do have that input. The CM can negotiate with subcontractors to maintain the budget. One of the things about CM is, per state law in that 2269, they have to, any kind of savings that they are able to negotiate all has to pass through back to the owner. They don't get to pocket any of that. And also, when you contract with the CM, they'll create a guaranteed maximum price. So they will establish here, this will cost no more than X, but there's allowances and contingencies built into that to more easily help you deal with unforeseen conditions and those type of things, that the CSP is a little more rigid. But at the end of the project, any savings, any unspent funds within that GMP is returned to the district. And then, like I said, construction changes are flexible because of that. Construction costs, the GMP may be higher than what that CSP number will, and it will be. In theory, though, that CSP is subject to going up with change orders, where the CM, because they built those in and you return funds at the end, they get close to evening out at the end if it's done well and your documents are well designed and there's not a lot of gaps that bring up that risk. And this is probably the most common method right now. Construction manager agent is a little confusing because it still says construction manager, but it's the agent part you need to focus on. So the construction manager agent works as the owner's rep, basically. And then they'll work with the design team so they can help in the planning. But one of the differences is they are not contracted to build the building. They do not build anything. They manage trade contractors on your behalf. So they operate as your agent. They can negotiate individual trade contracts on your behalf. One of the things about it is it's a little bit flexible. That can rebid sections of the work as you go if they needed to for some reason. And the CMA has a fiduciary responsibility to the school district. That is important. Some of the cons are the owner, you would assume all of the risk. You hold the contract separately with every trade contractor, which means you get pay-apps from every contractor. You write checks to every contractor. If there's a change order to, let's say, add a door, we deal with 4 change orders because you're painting and you got the door, the hardware, the paint, everything else. And then there is no guaranteed maximum price. They'll give you an estimate, but if things go awry, you know, that price can go up. Design build. Design build is a single source of responsibility where you hire a design builder, and they manage everything else on the project, including the design team. Pros are the projects do move a little quicker, and you have a single source of responsibility. Can be higher costs for construction. You have a single source of responsibility. However, there are no checks and balances as in the traditional methods that we talked about before, because your architect and your design team works under the contractor. And that's really important on design build. And because of that, it's sometimes difficult to control quality because that design build team is the one that is making those decisions on what that quality means, only having to meet minimum criteria that you put in your design build proposal. It's not common in Texas in public schools. Higher ed does it some, but it's really not done in K-12. It is done more in up north and on the West Coast. And then the last one is job order contract. It's a delivery method that's really more geared for smaller projects, typically maintenance, repair, alteration, projects that it would be hard to get people to bid on, or you need to have a really quick schedule. The way it works is the job is priced off of an RS Means book that has line item descriptions and unit prices for different scopes of work. So the job order contractor would build off whatever your scope is based on those line items and quantities, and then multiply it by a city location, and then a multiplier that's typically bid. You can get small projects completed quick, and you don't have to competitively bid every project because it's already done in that RS Means book with those multipliers. You can either, some districts that have a lot of work that they're going to do JLC will put out their own RFP and take bids on those ratios. You can also contract this through purchasing co-ops like Buy Board or TIPS or One GPA or anything like that. They have job order contracting methods through there as well. So if Kyle had a quick project that needed to get done, a boiler exploded and you needed a way to get in quickly and do that, you could do that through job order contracting, knowing that they've already covered that, kind of that bid part. It's not appropriate for large scale projects. That's it. It's those 6. So, I know y'all aren't making a decision, but are there any questions about any of those?
I have one more for Delvin, who's the local expert recently on public building here. Did y'all use construction manager at risk? Is that what y'all used?
Yeah, we did. We used CMAR. And like I said, I mean, that was the same, basically what Brett explained to us, is that's pretty much a common nowadays, and it takes all that risk out. And I mean, I'll be honest, on ours, we found some things through the process that had we not had that, it would have ended up costing us significantly, but because we had some contingencies and things built in with that, it offset that, and then at the end, we did get money that was gave back to us.
All right. Thanks, Brett. Okay. Appreciate the tutorial on all that. That's good information. So, all right. 15C, our last is the financial information. Anything, Gary, that you want to discuss on that? Good. I was going to give you the opportunity. That way you couldn't hold that against me. So, all right. If that is the case, then we are wrapping up. It is 8:26 p.m. and we are adjourned.